Hi, everybody. It's DB here from Doug Bush Visual Designs and Drill Dojo. I wanted to spend a couple of minutes sharing a couple of things that I've been doing while I'm designing during this period of COVID for this fall. I'm working with 6 different high school bands right now, designing their shows, and just found a couple of tips that might help some people out there, I hope. I hope you find it helpful and useful. And one thing that I'm doing in Pieware, and those of you that have used Pieware for, you know, very much time at all, probably aware of this, but in preferences under file, you can tell the program when to alert you or warn you about stride size. So I'm changing this. The default, I think, is 5 to 5, and I've been changing it to 30 inches. So you can just highlight whatever's in there, type in 30, and then anytime someone is taking a 6 to 5 step or larger, the program will flash the red and let me know. All right. And then default for the interval for new shapes is 2 steps. And what I'm changing that to is 3.2. 3.2 is exactly 6 feet. So that aligns everything with social distancing guidelines from CDC and everyone else for especially for outdoors. So you can type those in, then that way the computer program is actually going to help you as you're designing. While I'm writing, most of the time when I'm writing this year a linear form or a block, I'm using a 4-step interval, which is pretty typical for me. But a lot of times with a linear, I will use 2-step or maybe even 1, depending on what section it is. But this year, that's just not going to work. Color guard, usually not an issue. I write a lot of 8 or 6 with flags, and the closest I'm going to get them together with even rifles or sabers is going to be 4 steps. So that's typically not an issue. The drum line, some changes that I've been using this year is writing more arcs for snares and tenors. And this one honestly could be a little deeper because you could bring the ends in, make the arc a little deeper, still have a 3.2, but then have less distance from end to end. So this, I feel like this is going to help the drummers communicate a little bit better rather than being in a straight line. And I typically write snares at a 2 and tenors at a 3 or a 4. Bass drums, I've just been writing 3 and 4 straight line. If I feel like something's going to be really technical and really want to pack them in, then I'm going to use some kind of a curve so that they can angle their drums and see each other and communicate a little more. All right. And what I'm working in is basically 4 different zones for the most of the time, and that's a brass zone, a woodwind zone, a color guard zone, and then a percussion zone. And then at key moments, and this is kind of basic with design anyway, but really this year I'm using it more and more. And then at key moments, connect things more for those impacts or those hits. Um, and the reason I'm going this route is just thinking about being on the field and rehearsing and trying to keep students at social distancing. Rather than having the brass and the woodwinds intermingled, I'm going to keep them separate. I'm going to have their own little area, even as simple as getting on the field, right? Not everybody having to come on the field the same location. Maybe the woodwinds can enter from here, brass can enter from here, color guard can enter from here, and it gets people spread out around the venue. And just so kind of click along here, can follow along. Really pretty straight ahead stuff. I'm keeping the set count down. I'm keeping sets where they move 2 consecutive sets or more. I'm keeping that down as well. Move, park and play, do some choreo, let the color guard take over, move, park and play, and then pacing myself and using those back-to-back moves very judiciously. And keeping the set count down just because the amount of rehearsal time is probably going to be diminished. All right. So this is an opener for one of my client groups. And you can see here, this is where we're kind of packing it in a little more. But then there's still that 3.2, there's still a 4 here or more on the angle, and then 3.2 in the drum line and this group as well. So keeping people at that minimum 6-foot distance. Now, I have another client, actually I have two other clients that are dealing with a different kind of scheduling. And so what I've done here is I'm actually writing for thinking about two different bands. All right. So there are two different wind sections. There really are two different percussion sections, but we'll talk about that in a minute. And two different color guard sections because the band is rehearsing A and B days. So some of the students will be in rehearsal on Monday, Wednesday, say maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The other half of the band is in rehearsal Tuesday, Thursday, and then they alternate one day a week so that everybody gets 5 days out of 10. I think I said that right. Yes. Okay. So what I've done is I've color coded these. I just call them A and B. A's are red, B's are blue. So I'm still staging one brass section, but I'm doing it in a way keeping in mind that these people will be rehearsing together and rehearsing separately from these people. Same thing in the woodwind section. Then that way, as they're learning their drill or cleaning, they know, they're not having like two people and then two or three empty spots and then a person and then two or three empty spots. But then they can dress this line when they're at rehearsal on those days. They can dress this curve even with the blue people absent because you can still see that form. Same thing back here with the woodwinds. Even though this whole big chunk is A, they can still set up this form and this form. Percussion, I went ahead and wrote as one battery. Rather than thinking about A and B, they're going to have to function as a section either way. And so just went ahead and smaller group of people and charted them. I am using, again, I'm using the curved lines with snares and tenors, 3.2 distance, which makes the line a lot bigger than normal. And it's going to be harder. So I don't move them very much. I let them park pretty much. And so what I like about this setup is if I were going to write two completely different wind sections, say we had all the A's or the red on this side of the 50 and all the blue on this side of the 50. Well, then we have two different trumpet sections, two different flute sections, two different trombone sections. And trying to keep those together with limited rehearsal time is going to be harder than doing this, where we have everyone staged with their section, even though they don't necessarily rehearse with them all the time. My hope is they will get some full rehearsal, but it's probably going to be limited. So we can be symmetrical when we want to be. We can be asymmetrical when we want to be. It gives us options. All right. So anyway, I hope that maybe this little short video will be of use to you. I'd love to hear from my readers on my blog. So please let me know what you think. If you have other ideas too, I'd love to hear about them because I'm always open to trying to learn more and more. All right. Everybody be safe. Take care.